international challenges, united by the common goal of fostering peace, cooperation, and progress. Issues such as international security, human rights, public health, gender equality, as well as post-pandemic challenges, require a collective effort and strategic planning so as we move forward to build a more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable future for all. Cyprus, a nation with rich history and a commitment to international dialogue, understands the importance of collaboration in overcoming the challenges that confront our world. As we embark on the discussions ahead, let us remember that our diversity is our strength, and our shared responsibilities bind us together. Cyprus remains dedicated to contributing constructively to the deliberations that will shape the future we strive to create. Thank you. I'll give the floor back to the panel.
Czech Republic, you have the floor.
Good morning, esteemed chairs, fellow delegates, and distinguished guests. We know how difficult the morning awakening is, so we'll try to make this speech as brief as possible. The delegation of the Czech Republic has come prepared to commence fruitful dialogue and protect their best interests. As a proud and vigorous member of the United Nations for 31 years now, we stand before our facilitators and would like to thank them for everything they have prepared for us today. The Czech Republic welcomes you to the 21st Large Model United Nations. Thank you.
Denmark, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, the Secretary General, Madam President, honorable delegates. Denmark is an old nation full of new ideas. We may not be the biggest country, but we have big ambitions. As one of the founding nations of the United Nations, Denmark remains strongly committed to the ideals and aspirations enshrined in the UN Charter. As the main forum for dealing with global issues, the UN, with its universal mandate, is one of the cornerstones of Danish foreign policy. Denmark attaches particular importance to the role of the UN in the field of conservation, peacekeeping and peace building, promotion of democracy and human rights, as well as sustainable development and poverty eradication. Over the years, Denmark has provided considerable support to the UN, including through contributions to peacekeeping operations, high levels of development assistance, and active engagement in the normative work of the organization. As the foreign minister, you have supported and led to the 74th UN General Assembly. Our ability to deliver as we, the people, determines whether people will continue to use the organization for answers and solutions. To continue to be the place for solving the global issues of our times, the UN, all of us, must deliver on climate action, on sustainable development, on human rights, and peace and security. We know the challenges, and we know what is needed. Now, let's show the necessary will and act together. Thank you. I give the floor to the board.
Egypt, you have the floor, and I would also like to remind you that you have 1 minute for your speech.
Your Excellency the Secretary General, Mr. President, honorable deputies, distinguished delegates, Egypt has been one of the founding member states of the United Nations, as well as a member of the African Union, the Arab League, and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Its unique location in the Middle East and the North Africa, among the Muslim world, offers the benefit of a deep understanding of global issues, while striving to provide assistance through its foreign allies and international affairs. Egypt is greatly concerned with peacekeeping activities and advocating for the rights and well-being of its citizens, as well as resolving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict that affects the world as a whole. What's more, we have always been on the alert for issues like water scarcity and sustainable development, the repatriation of cultural artifacts, as well as human rights and diversity in the workplace. In the aftermath of a pandemic, Egypt stands proud with its voice and contributes to shaping global policy and negotiation. Thus, it's a great honor to be part of this promising conference, wishing all members from all member states to delectable three-day experience and committing ourselves to reaching the most desirable outcome on the topic areas of this committee. Thank you. I yield the floor back to the President.
Ethiopia, you have the floor.
Your Excellencies, the Secretary General, Mr. President, honorable delegates, Ethiopia, a country with rich history and culture, warmly welcomes the opportunity to participate in this important UNICEF conference. As one of the first countries to become a member of the United Nations in 1945, Ethiopia takes pride in its commitment to promoting citizens' welfare and justice worldwide. Ethiopia is also excited to have the opportunity to meet all the esteemed representatives gathered here today and discuss the serious challenge of water scarcity and inadequate water sanitation affecting citizens globally. Ethiopia calls upon the global community to join us in this endeavor. Only through solidarity and cooperation can we ensure a better future for our children and future generations. Thank you very much. I give the floor to the board.
Finland, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, the Secretary General, Mr. President, honorable delegates, Finland has proudly been a member of the United Nations since 1955 and consistently ranks a significant contributor to the United Nations budget. As a member of the European Union, Finland stands at the forefront of peace and is fully dedicated to combating racial and gender discrimination, disposal of cultural artifacts, water scarcity, and the sudden rise of domestic abuse. Finland advocates for a realistic and inclusive approach to addressing our world's problems, such as racial bias and conflict, the political division of Europe, mental health deterioration, the stigmatization of women, and others ought to be analyzed during the conference in this marvelous college. Finland hopes for everyone to have engaging discussions over the next couple of days. Thank you. I leave the remaining time back to the floor.
France, you have the floor.
Madam President, Honorable Secretariat, esteemed guests, and fellow delegates. Bonjour. The delegation of France feels extremely privileged to be a part of this conference of great importance, as the topics discussed within the committee, such as the consequences of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the aftermath of COVID-19, gender equality, and cases of domestic abuse are highly significant and have a huge impact on the whole world. France, after its founding in 1792, has been one of the founding members of the UN in 1945 and has been an active participant in its activities since its inception. We urge all members to work together to build peace and the modern international order to serve the goals of our Charter. On this path, the United Nations can unfailingly rely on France, and each country here can do so too. The delegation of France hopes that with the cooperation of all nations, there will be fruitful debates and effectual resolutions will be achieved that will allow us to solve many international issues. Thank you. We give the floor to the board.
You have the floor.
Your Excellencies, dear delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Germany has fully embraced its role in the UN as a fervent supporter of international law, humanitarian aid, and sustainable development. It is true that international law It is true that today we are facing a poly crisis, a barrage of global challenges that require balanced solutions. The conflicts in Cameroon and the Middle East, the management of post-pandemic domestic abuse cases and mental health issues, water scarcity, the repatriation of cultural artifacts, the empowerment of women, all calls for timely decisions and interventions. We, the Federal Republic of Germany, are ready to roll up our sleeves for a peaceful, resilient, and just future. Thank you. We yield the floor to the board.
Lance, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Secretary General, Madam President, honorable delegates, distinguished guests. Kalimera. Elas is enormously privileged and grateful for the opportunity to attend this UN conference. Elas is one of the 50 founding members of the United Nations. In exercising its foreign policy, Hellas has consistently supported multidimensional cooperation as a way to promote understanding among the world's nations, coordinate the handling of international affairs, and actively participate in various organizations and organs of the United Nations. Hellas is shaping and integrating foreign policy to contribute to peace and stability with a view to developing a positive agenda for cooperation and open dialogue, bridging differences and reaching mutually acceptable compromises. Hellas favors a people-centered approach to tackling pressing issues and strongly believes that protecting human rights is not simply a high priority, but a fundamental obligation. Hellas remains completely devoted to the promotion of democratic principles, peaceful resolutions of conflicts, strict adherence to international law, and respect for human rights. As Yanis Lissos wrote, have you ever seen a state more skilled to anger and love? A state more love. Thank you, and I give the floor back to the board.
India, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Secretary General, Mr. President, honorable delegates, distinguished guests. India was one of the founding members of the United Nations, joining in October 1945, 2 years before acquiring independence from the United Nations, and one of the charter members of the United Nations that signed the Declaration at Washington, D.C. on 1st January 1942. As a founding member of the UN, India strongly supports their purposes and principles and has made significant contributions in implementing the goals of the Charter and the evolution of the UN specialized programs and agencies. India raised concerns regarding the colonization, apartheid, racial discrimination, and its UN membership in the UN as an important guarantee for maintaining international peace and security by taking part in 43 peacekeeping missions. Additionally, India is a contributor to the UN regular budget and an advocate of environmental sustainable development in international fora. Following Gandhi's quote, the future depends on what we do in the present. Referring once more to Gandhi, relationships are based on 4 principles: respect, understanding, acceptance, and appreciation. We wish you a fruitful discussion in the conference. The delegation of India yields the floor to the President. Dhanyavad, thank you.
Iran, you have the floor.
honorable members of the Secretariat, distinguished chairs, and fellow delegates. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings to everyone. The Islamic Republic of Iran is beyond grateful for the opportunity to attend this year's Secretariat College Model United Nations Conference. It's a true honor to participate in this assembly where we all get the chance to engage in constructive discussions and express our representative country's views. Iran is more than proud to be one of the original 50 founding members of the United Nations since 1945. In 1950, one of the first worldwide UN information centers opened in our capital, Tehran. Ever since then, we have been energetically partnering with the United Nations. Today, we are gathered here to examine and debate on some of the most pressing global matters. In terms of war, for instance, the Cameroonian War of Independence, the Cold War, and the political division of Europe, as well as the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. Besides, other matters, such as rising of domestic violence, repatriating cultural artifacts, children's health, being a state due to water scarcity and unsanitary water, and last but not least, empowering women's diversity. Iran encourages dialogue and cooperation in order to endeavor solving each and every one of these above challenges the world is facing. Standing by our policy, our culture, and our history, we enter the conference with the intention of operating with diplomacy and promoting negotiations that achieve international benefits. Iran, dedicated to humanity and committed to the principles of the UN Charter and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, will put in all its efforts to achieve justice, equality, peace, and stability. At last, the Islamic Republic of Iran urges all delegates to take active part in the discussion, inspire each other, and work together, committed to the joint purpose of achieving securing a sustainable, better future for all. We are here as the member states of the United Nations. May we work united. Shukran jazilan. Thank you very much.
And lastly, Ireland, you have the floor.
Honorable members of the board, esteemed guests, fellow delegates, top of the morning to you. Our UN membership has been central to Ireland's foreign policy since we joined in 1955. The principles and values enshrined in the UN Charter are those we have always strived to promote and protect. Through our committed contribution to issues such as human rights, development, peacekeeping, and disarmament, we have been able to achieve an impact which is disproportionate to our size. This adds real value and reach to the role played by Ireland in international relations and assists the government in realizing its key foreign policy objectives. The United Nations and the rules-based international order is central to who we are as a nation. But multilateralism can only succeed if it is effective. And it can only be effective if we, the member states, allow it to be so. This takes courage. It takes political will. It takes commitment to collective solutions to global challenges. It takes a readiness to compromise. It takes a genuine belief in the principles of the United Nations Charter. Let's all take wise decisions here. Thank you for your attention. The delegation of Ireland gives the floor to the board.
So the rest of the ambassadors will have the floor at the closing ceremony. Before we will go to a break, we would like to inform you that in the main entrance there is a big banner that you can take photos through the day. Also, alcohol and smoking are forbidden to the school. And now we will go on a 30-minute break. After that, we will begin with the committee's work. Thank you very much. Please stay. Πρώτα θα ξεκινήσετε από τα αριστερά, να βγαίνει η αριστερή σειρά από την πάνω πόρτα για να μην υπάρξει συναισθήμα.
Όχι από την πάνω.
Από την πάνω πόρτα. Και τη σειρά δεξιά από την κάτω πόρτα. Και η σειρά από δεξιά από την κάτω πόρτα.